Welcome back to another episode of Rusted Up Garage. Today is another huge day here at Rusted Up Garage. We are going to be installing the new Quick Performance rear end, along with the brand new Eaton rear leaf springs. So here's our pretty axles that are pretty heavy. So I'm gonna go ahead and just put these down now. That's okay with you, Zach. And then we're gonna get this video cranking. So basically, if you're watching, I'd love for you to subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, I'd love for you to hit the bell. The bell is very helpful. And also comment down bottom, comment. It's in the little section that says comment. Just comment to us. I like to talk. If you guys haven't figured that out in the past few videos, I'm a talker. So if you comment, I'd love to comment back. But anyways, so what we have here is a Quick Performance fabricated rear end, which you guys saw earlier when we set it on the old leaf springs and we were all excited. Well, it's finally going in for reals now. So here's the rear end housing itself. And here are the new leaf springs. These I had made at Eaton Springs in Detroit. They actually replicate original equipment cars. They're in all the books and everything. And so they're really popular and they can match them, and these things are beautiful. So we're gonna put the springs in it, and then also we can start putting the disc brakes on. As you can see, we're doing disc brake conversion. We have all the little, the brackets and such that I gotta figure out how to put on, and get this thing rolling. But I think for starters, we gotta get the leaf springs in it, and then we can set this on and get this bolted down and take it from there. Sound like a plan, Zach?
Yeah.
Man, a few words. Man, a few words. And it is hot in here, so we're gonna do the right thing and turn the fans back on. So we'll probably put you in a little bit of music-y fast forward mode as we grab the spring or whatever, but we're gonna have to run some fans because it is warm today here in Alabama. So there's the leaf springs installed. Now, still gotta work on this. I'm just not sure about this. I'll slide them in after. I guess now I'm gonna go grab the rear end and I'm gonna set that in here. I'll be back, Zach. If you remember right, when we did the last rear end, Zach and I had all we could do to put this rear end in. And now you can't see me at all. It's pretty nice. So you remember how hard it was for Zach and I to put this rear end last time? What a difference, huh? So as you can see now, we had a little delay. Let's just say that you have to do a lot of modifying on the bottom plates to get all this to work. You have to re-drill them, and so we end up having to drill them over. So be sure if you're going to put a Quick Performance rear end and a 55 Oldsmobile that you take the time to measure where the bolts go through and drill this plate, because that's what we had to do. We basically had to drill, because the original ones were over more. They're tighter. The U-bolts are tighter right here. So we had to spread them out, so we had to basically, that's what took us a few minutes, where you didn't see us doing it. We basically just drilled these wider so we could bolt them down. But as you can see, the rear end is officially in its home. We got the rubbers all down, we got the centering pins in, we actually made centering pins that were tall enough. So I think we're good. I mean, she all bolted together real nice. Basically what I gotta do next is put the third member in, we got to put together all the studs and put the third member in. And once the third member's in, then the axles can go in. When the axles go in, the brakes and rotors and all that crap can go on. And then she's ready for tires. Oh, and we got to build sway bar mounts. So we got more to build, basically what I'm trying to say here. But next I'm going to get all the studs, and we're going to suck all the studs through for the center section. And then we will put the third member up in this thing finally. Third member in. This probably won't make the cut, but this is a little bit of an overkill for the 220 horse engine. But, you know, maybe someday it'll be bigger. Probably not. Probably not. Tip for you. You gotta put that axle seal in here. Which Zach could probably bring you over to show you. But so I went and got me a piece of PVC pipe because I don't have a seal installer. It's pretty much the same size. Actually, it's like perfect this direction. So now, because that goes way in there like this, see? So now I can put my seal installer like that. Just like that. Seal is in there. It's in there all the way too. Okay. Just like that. See? Little trick for you. Just like that. Take 6. Already 3. Okay, now we have the rear end in, obviously, because you've just watched the entire video. So next plan is to give this thing rear disc brakes, which is going to be phenomenal for stopping compared to the old drum brakes. So this is a really cool, easy kit that comes from Quick Performance. Basically, you get all the plates right here that we're going to attach in just a second, and then we'll put the rotor on and the caliper. So let's get cranking. You gotta start out with the T-bolts. I don't know what Zach can see where he's gonna have to go to get all this, but you know, we'll make Zach just do whatever. So they come with the T-bolts. T-bolts go in first. Next, for our application, a lock washer is the right thickness because this indentation here goes on that bearing, and the bearings do stick out on these a little bit. So in order to get this right, it just needs a lock washer. So let's go ahead and slide a lock washer on every one of these like this. Okay. And then the plate goes on basically like this. You have 2 patterns. You got some small holes here, which is for our application, or the old big Ford stuff, which would be the big holes. So we are going to use the small holes. Basically, it's the only holes that work. So, I mean, you can't really mess that up. And then, I don't think you really need this spacer, but where they back cut that, I just figured a little extra ain't going to hurt. You know, this thing cranks up all 220 horsepower, you know, up front. Back here it's like 100 and something. You know, we don't want to be breaking stuff. Not that I think we would. So now we're going to do another lock washer and install the nuts. Okay, now I just want to make sure that's square in there like that, which it is. Now I'm just going to bring these down. Kind of at a crisscross. The only reason why I'm doing that, I don't think it's necessary, but if that bearing, I didn't pound it in all the way, and it's pulling the bearing in, I just kind of want to pull it in somewhat evenly. So, but again, I think it's all the way in anyways. It's mounted all the way in. For one, we don't want our rear end to come out, or our axles to come out. Come on there, you. Really? There. What they say, everything's a hammer. Okay, so that's done. Next, you have this plate right here. So this plate right here is going to bolt on right here on the back. It's going to use spacers. So what we're going to do is we're going to start 3 of them. Why 3, you may ask? The 4th one we got to cut it down. It's an Oldsmobile thing. You know, sorry, I got to wipe some sweat. It's hot in here. I mean, I can turn the fan off.
It's not really hot, it's more humid.
It is humid. We got like 27 gallons of water yesterday dumped on us per inch. So now we're just gonna take this bracket and we're gonna bolt this bracket on here like this. And these have lock nuts, so well, that one don't anymore. Not a big deal, except for the fact that it's closer and I can't get a full-size nut in there. So we're gonna have to go with, I can't get a lock nut in there. There's no one of them Oldsmobile things. Nothing just fits if you have an Oldsmobile. Okay, ain't going nowhere. So now we have the bracket on. We are going to switch positions with Zach after I grab this rotor. We're going to put this guy on. Okay, now we'll throw a caliper on. Okay, I'm not going to tighten those up because I'm probably going to take them back off. But, so this is the emergency brake. So now I've got some cables. We got to work through all the emergency brake stuff because obviously, you know, they don't make an emergency brake kit for this car. So that's all going to be custom along with every other thing that we've done with this car. But now it's got rear disc on it. So next project is really going to be probably, we got to figure out the sway bar, which we're going to show you that. The sway bar is kind of crazy. And then we start running the brake lines, emergency brake lines. And just, like I said, working our way to the back. Eventually we'll get to wiring, but next will be brake lines and emergency brake lines. on the rear end. So it's looking good. So as you can see, we've done some shuffling around after we got the brakes on. We were going to do the brake lines, but of course the brake lines they sent me don't work because it's an Oldsmobile that we're trying to adapt again. So I found the parts I need, I just got to order them, so we can't do that. We were working on emergency brakes cables next, and we do have a universal kit that's going to need a lot of modification, but we're pretty sure we got that down. We put the old shocks under it, we got it set on the ground. The car's sitting about probably 1.5 inches higher than what it used to. These new springs really, you know, make it sit like it probably did brand new. So the next thing is sway bar. I gotta get the sway bar put in it, and then we gotta modify and get mounts put in for the sway bar. That's gonna be a little bit tricky because again, I gotta make all this stuff. But I wanna show you the difference. So this is the sway bar, the rear sway bar that was in the car, okay? So it's you can see size comparison, like my finger, it's crazy. Not only that, it's pretty flexible. Somehow I found a set of bars for a 55 Oldsmobile. You see, here's the new one. So I mean, there's just massive difference between the two. I don't know how I found performance sway bars for a 55. I think this is old stock or something that was sitting around somewhere. I don't know. I found a front one too. Wait, I'll do comparison on the front when we get the front end, which will be next week. But I mean, this is the original bar right here. And, you know, basically I feel that it, you know, it really weren't barring much stuff. I don't feel. I think this thing basically does nothing. I'm not even sure why that was in the car, but it was. So now the performance bar, on the other hand, I mean, I can't even look. I can't twist it. It's just impossible. So that should help. Again, everything we're doing, we're trying to get this thing so it goes down the road better. So don't like, it's just not like a big old, like this, because that's what it did before. It was like, so it was like an old waterbed with no baffles in it. I know some of you older people remember that. The younger generation don't, but a waterbed with no baffles. It was like this, you got in. Like that. Okay, that's what this car was like. You load this thing up with kids and stuff in the back, then it was like this. So, I'm trying to fix on all that, because this thing's gonna run some miles. So, new springs have helped. I mean, the underneath looks amazing. It's just, it's sexy. I mean, the whole thing is just, it's just sexy up underneath the car. So, we do gotta do shocks, we're working on that. Of course, there again, there's one shock available for this car. It's a $32 Monroe gas shock. And I don't want a gas shock. I want an oil shock because these cars weren't designed really for gas shock. Gas shocks are like, poof, and they're out, like that, right? And then you gotta jump on them to come down and they just wanna go bam, bam, bam. That's all they wanna do is just keep pushing up. Where an oil shock is made for back and forth. It's more for the dampening. So, we're working on that. Now we got some measurements. We know where the car's sitting. We're gonna do some research and figure out what to put underneath it. I don't know what that's gonna be. It'll be something though. That's not a $32 Monroe gas-powered shock. It's just not. It's not going underneath this car. So, but yeah, it sits, like I said, higher now. It don't even have the coilovers on it. It had coilover shocks on it before. Anything they could do to get this thing up, it was so sagging. So, pretty excited about all that. So I'm not sure what we've recorded, because we seem to always go in days here. But anyways, we've done quite a bit of work up underneath this car. Not that you can quite see, it's kind of hard. But we have managed to get the whole e-brake assembly in. So that's the factory Oldsmobile stuff right here. And then we converted it over and found these little pieces of some universal cables that come back, and we were able to make it work on the disc brakes. So that actually worked out really well and really clean. Then the next problem we had was shocks, and because there's one available shock for this car, and the shock that's available, you don't want it. So basically with some work and some modifying, we were able to get these single adjustable QA1s. I know it's a little dark, I'm sorry. I got some light on under here, it's just the way it goes. So, but we did get these single adjustable QA1s, which really should make a huge difference up underneath this car. All the fuel lines have been run. You can kind of see they're run up over the top here, and they kind of come around the top of the rear end. Brake lines are all done. You can see those running down the frame. Oop, that ain't brake line. That's emergency brake. Try this bag. Oh yeah, look at that brake line. Yeah, you know it. So, like I said, shocks were a little bit of a challenge, but we did manage to get them in there, and they look phenomenal. So, big shout out to QA1 on these shocks. They are they're gonna work great on this car. So, like I said, e-brakes are all good. Fuel lines are all in. They're actually on the outside of the frame. And really the only thing left that we got to figure out now is this sway bar. Because remember we talked about the sway bar? And so there's the sway bar. The original links right here were not long enough to come down. So I had to order some longer bolts. Oops, sorry, jiggly again. So we basically have this big long bolt. I bought these clamp-ons, and we're gonna build a piece to basically hook this to here, so then it'll ride with the rear end. And then we can finish up getting this last brake line clipped in, and I should probably tighten those. How do you think about that? I didn't tighten up the front ones. Sorry, squirrel. There's the emergency brakes. That's pretty sweet right there, that whole concoction. So, anyways, you guys like this fabrication stuff. So, I'm going to fabricate some plates for this. And then we're going to weld them in, tack them in, pull these off, and then weld it up. So, but, again, the Quick Performance rear end looks phenomenal. Everything seems to be working. I will tell you with Oldsmobile, you basically have got to get creative. Let me flip this thing around. It takes a lot of creativity, because these parts don't just bolt on. There's no such thing as bolt-on parts for Oldsmobiles, and you can't use Chevy parts, you can't use Pontiac parts or Buick parts. You got to find Oldsmobile stuff, or you got to be able to build stuff. And that truck is loud. So, without further ado, let's get back to doing some stuff that you guys seem to really enjoy, and that's fabricating. So, I'll show you what we're gonna build. Here, I had to get a replacement bolt, because I said the original ones just weren't long enough. So we got the rubbers, and basically we're going to, I'll lay this out so you can kind of see what we got to do, and then I'll show you what we're going to do. Here's the bolt, like that, and then we had to drill out the washer, well, the spacer for the rubber. So that goes on, and then this goes on, and then the sway bar would normally sit here. And then this rubber goes on, like this. And then we cut this sleeve out of some stainless. And then this goes on. And then I totally missed a spacer. See that? What are you guys doing? Why didn't you tell me that that was missing? I mean, what's going on? And then this. And then that. And then that. And then that, and then that, and then that. Oop, like that. So basically, if I can find where the camera's at, right here is the bushing. So sway bar goes here. We need to build a mount that goes here. So I got this really thick plate right here. And basically what we're gonna do is we're gonna drill a hole, and then we're gonna countersink it on both sides and cut it off so it fits basically right in here. And then we're going to weld that to the rear end, and then this can all bolt. So I'm going to start out by drilling a couple holes, and we'll take it from there. Okay, so now we got the hole, which basically that rubber fits into like that. Now what I want to do is I'm going to chamfer this down so it actually sits into it a little bit like that. So I'm going to get me something to do that with, which happens to be knocking over all my brand new drill bits. This bit here should do that. Now, let's see here. See, nice little chamfer in there. We could actually even go maybe just a whisker bit more. Might just go just a little bit more with those. Okay, next thing we want to do is kind of round the corners off. So we want to make it look, you know, nice. So we're just going to go ahead and just round this corner off. Then we're going to cut these off square. So there is our sway bar mount. So we're going to weld that on that plate, which I'll show you here in just a little bit. We gotta let these things cool down a little bit. They're a little heavy. So we'll set up for that next. So basically what I've done is I got my piece here. Okay, and I marked center of it and just offset of it. And then this piece right here, we're going to put on this bracket like this. And then weld her up like that. So what I've done, over here I set up my square in my vise. I put the level on like this, so I know I'm good here, and I set it on top of my piece. So now I can line my piece up like this. Ah! I can set this piece up here like this. See, it all lines up on all my lines. It's all nice and square. And now I can tack it, and then we can weld this up, and then do the other one. So you can kind of see what we got going there for the mount, and when this goes on, our sway bars are going to go right through it, just like that. My battery is almost exhausted. But there you guys go. That's all on there. Good penetration. Heated all the way through, nice. Should have no problems with that. So now we can do up the second one, and then we're gonna weld some tabs on for the brake lines, get them painted up, and we're good to go. Sorry. You know, batteries are in this thing. It was exhausted, like me. But anyways, we got both mounts welded up. Sorry, it died in the middle of this one, but you know, we got the second one all done, you know. That's looking good. So now the next thing is we got the back side of this. So, right down is I already ground these just a little bit, but these are for the brakes. And these basically are just gonna go on like this right here. Just like this. Just like that. So I'm just gonna go ahead and just weld them on real quick. That ain't going nowhere. Okay, so now I'm gonna get all this stuff cooled off, we'll get it primed up, and then we'll be putting it on. So, am I live? I think I am. Okay, way up here. So basically we got the mount down and painted. You can tell basically by the way that it is, see? So, we're gonna go ahead, this mount here, we're gonna stick it right in here. Can you see that? Yeah, you kind of can. Maybe I put Zach on the camera and he could, you know, really dial it in for you. But maybe not. But we're gonna put the bolts through. Oof, God, Zach, they're all up my grill now.
Well, it's because you wanted me to wield this thing. Whoa, it's really zoomy.
That's what I said. I was looking at it right in the eyeballs. Poor people are like, what is going on here? They're like, what? Go ahead. Then we're gonna put this one on, and see, look, I put the brake thing on. That's for brakes right there. Basically, you can tell by the way that it is. And then we're gonna put the mount on like this and start these bolts right here. Get up there. It's just really not working out for my favor right now. So, like that. And this guy's gonna come down like this. What we're gonna do is we're gonna find its placement first. So I'm gonna go put the other one on. Then we're gonna lower these down and straighten them up, and then I'm gonna tighten these brackets on where these are vertical right here. So basically, once I get this where I need it, I'll tighten these, and then we'll put the bar on the brackets. Let me do the other side real quick. What happened to your handle? You just threw that thing right in the dump, huh?
I was getting in the way.
Did we tighten the front ones? Probably not.
You just asked that. I told you I tightened it with my fingers.
So the front ones are the ones you tighten with your fingers.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we'll definitely tighten those in. There. Okay. So now, as you can see, sway bar is in, brake lines are ran. So all we got left to do now is actually run the brake line across here, which probably that comes up underneath here. And then we're gonna put a vent in. So our brake lines are here, and they barely clear all these bolts. Look at that. I mean, that's like right above that bolt. Look at that. Perfect, huh?
I can't see it when you put the flashlight there.
Pretty nice. So there's just enough clearance here, so now I'm gonna come across, and we're gonna come up and tie into this T. So what we'll probably do is we'll come back in just a little bit, and we'll make up these two lines right here and wrap up this video. Now I'll show you guys how I make up my brake lines, since I ran the rest of them and didn't really video it. And that'll conclude the whole back of the car being done. Everything's run now in the back and finished, and we get to head to the front. So exciting times. So we'll be back with brake lines 101. So we got our brake lines. We know they're gonna be about 2 feet. I know it's a little long, but we're gonna start just with this. So you gotta put your little piece on, right? And now we gotta do a double ferrule on this. So this is a really cool brake piece. So the brake line will basically go in here, and then we're gonna do a 1 stage, which is gonna bend it, and then we'll go do a 2nd stage, which will double flare it. So this is a super cool tool. Basically, you put the dies in, put the clamp on, like this.
You gotta push this in first.
Yeah, I know. I was trying to get it, I had used it for something else, so I was trying to get it readjusted. So you basically push this out like this against that flat edge, snug this up, okay, like this, okay, and then we put it on what size we got, and we're doing a 3/16. So we'll start with this one, okay, and we're gonna push it to there, and it did the first bend, and then we're gonna go 3/16 on the second one, like that. Now we're gonna loosen this up, and perfect double ferrule. I mean, that's a beautiful
flare.
Double flare. Sorry, ferrule. Whew. So there, this tool really makes it nice. So we'll do another one here. So put that on. Put our piece on like this. Bring it around to the flat one. And then you like that, and then you snug this down like this. Tell you what, if I had one of these when I was younger, whew, And just like that, nice professional double flare. So that's all there is to that. And now it's just a matter of doing some bending and then some measuring and getting these on. So for this, oh, my little bender is. I got this little guy right here. This is a Bendermatic 50. It's a Bendermatic 50. This is so small. That's what I decided it is. And basically it goes in there and you can just do your bends like that. And it looks good. I don't know how much you're really gonna be able to see here because honestly it's dark. There's a pocket up in here. I can't even see the work. So I don't even know how you're gonna see. Now, I know for a fact that this line here, it's going to go here, and it's about a 45-degree angle right here. So, what we're going to do, we're going to take this guy here. We're going to stuff this in here, put that guy on it. And I want this one pretty close to that ferrule. So, it has marks, so what we're going to do is we're just going to do a nice, pretty much a 45. And we'll take it from there and see where it goes. But I see it does a nice bend. So we'll start with a 45 and kind of take it from there. So now what I'm going to do is I'm kind of just bend this thing by hand almost to get to here. Which, as you can see, that's pretty close to what I want it to do. I kind of want it to be up over the axle like this and get me to this ferrule right here. That's pretty much it. That looks pretty good, don't you think, Zach? You can see.
Before somebody puts it in the old comment section, why are you making your own lines instead of buying a pre-made kit?
They don't make pre-made kits for my car. Plus this combination. You gotta think about what we're doing here, okay? We're putting four-wheel disc brakes on a 1955 Oldsmobile with a quick performance rear end. Okay, so for one, they don't make brake lines for 55 volts. Okay, that's the first one. Two, they definitely don't make them for disc brakes. Okay, three, I don't know. There's just a lot of things that you just make them yourself. It's easier. You just buy it now. We are using 3/16 stainless brake lines. So these brake lines will outlive this car. So, they are a little bit harder to flare and stuff than steel, but I don't know. I think stainless just looks better. It stays cleaner. And it's really not that much more at the end of the day. I mean, you can buy a roll pretty cheap. You can buy a roll of stainless tubing from Summit pretty cheap. And honestly, you can buy a lot of stuff from Summit, okay? I'm just saying, Summit is your friend when you need a friend.
They may not necessarily have the exact piece for your car, but they'll have the universal piece that you can make fit your car.
Yes. And I'm all about universal pieces. Yeah, these are the last two pieces here, and the brake system is done. So we're putting the front calipers on, but there's no front end. That's the next video.
So stay tuned.
Stay tuned. The next video, we're gonna put front tires on it. More modifications.
Because nothing's gonna fit.
Because nothing's gonna fit. More should fit in the front. Okay. Now, here's the big thing. Before you flare your last end, you put this on, okay? Because you don't know how many times I've flared the end and then realized, I forgot to put the piece on. So don't be me.
And you make sure you put it on the right way too. Not just on, but on the correct direction.
Yeah. I mean, if you at least get it on, you're better than not.
Well, not if it's backwards.
Well, I know, but... So there is a custom brake line right there for the left side. And the way everything's hard mounted, these lines are so short, we don't need to worry about any of the brackets or bracing or any of that. I mean, really, where's it gonna go?
Nowhere.
Yeah, where can it go? It pretty much matches that side. Look at that. So there. So I don't know how well you can see me, if at all. But I think that's it for this video. So we've pretty much covered installing the whole back. So I guess we'll do a big shout out for everyone who made the rear of this thing happen, which would be, let's see, we'll start with, let's see here.
Quick Performance.
Yeah, Quick Performance. Quick Performance is the center of it. Quick Performance rear end. Eaton rear springs. You can't go wrong with QA1s. QA1, that's a beautiful adjustable shock. What else we got back here? We got all of our brake fittings and stuff running down through here. That all came out of Summit. The, pretty much, that's the three big ones back here. All the fuel system, that's definitely, that all came, every bit of that came
From Motion
out of
Resource.
Motion, didn't it? Yeah, every bit of all the fuel system came out of Motion. So yeah, so big shout out to Motion for that. So, that's really the four big ones. And of course, obviously Quick Performance, because they are the center of attention here. But that's, that's a lot of parts from different manufacturers that we were able to make work in a car that never was meant to have any of these parts, and make it look as clean and as original as we can. So, at a quick glance, you won't really, nothing sticks out. It's kind of looks like it all should be here. It's just really clean and modern looking. So, excited to move to the front. The back has been a lot of work. So, be watching out for the next video. I don't have our new shirts on, but remember, we have shirts. And to the next video, you guys. Peace out. Oh yeah, like and share.